I'm right in the middle of transforming the front of my Trail Boss. I've already installed the new armor grille. I currently have the Rough Country LED bull bar, and I love the way I've got it connected to come on automatically with my high beams. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do with the new bull bar. Let me get this one off the truck and we'll check the new one out. Seeing these brackets brings really bad memories back because I remember how hard it was to reach my hand up in there to tighten these bolts down, but I'm gonna make it through it. There's one bracket uninstalled, and here is number 2. Let me give you a quick side-by-side comparison. Here's the Rough Country I just took off the truck, and here's the Lund Revolution bar that's going on the truck. I've got to get the LED light installed. I can't wait to see what this is going to look like. It's got some different angles. It's more squared than a tubular bar, so let's get it on. But before we move on, I do want to give you guys a look at what the armor grille looks like with just the red tow hooks. It's been a long time since I've not had a bull bar, and I just really don't like the look of the tow hooks. I'm definitely going to start out installing the brackets first because it's the hardest part to get through. Now, if you're installing this for the first time, there's a little piece that used to be here. You will have to cut that off. It looks like this top piece, but that's already been cut from my previous bull bar. So I did not have to take this off. It'll slide right in there, and the bracket we're going to use, it's got a little P for passenger side. We'll just slide that right in there, and then this bolt will go that way, and then the second side will have a single bolt and it'll go this way. The problem and why it's so hard is having to reach your hand in there to get those in. So let's see how it goes. All right, guys, this time it was not near as hard as the last time I did this. What I recommend is taking that bolt and propping it up against the inner hole, and then once you get it lined up, you take a flathead screwdriver, lifting the bracket up, and then you'll slide it through with the screwdriver, and that seemed to work pretty well for me. You've got the 2-bolt plate right here, and then on this side, you've got the 1. So I was able to get that. You do have to raise this guy up with an 18mm socket. So I've got that out of the way. So now I just need to tighten all these bolts up. Now, when you go to tighten these brackets, just don't tighten them all the way, snug them, because you want to be able to adjust the bull bar. Before installing the bull bar on the brackets, I need to get the LED light on. So they give you this hardware. I'm gonna screw it in just a little bit. You've got a lock washer and 2 washers, and then I'm gonna slide this down right in between that slot right there, and then I'll do the same thing on the other side. And now we have a completed bull bar. Notice this has 2 sets of mounting holes. We will be using the top for this installation. Once you get the first bolt in, tighten both of them up on each side with a 14mm. Once you get the 4 bolts tightened up, you want to take the bull bar and just kind of slide it back up against the bumper into position. And now we'll line this up, level it up, and tighten down the brackets. All right, guys, we got the bull bar level and we've got everything tightened down. I'm already starting to love the look of this bull bar compared to the other one because it blends better with this new grill. It's got the same type of shape inside the grill that this bull bar has. So now I need to jump on the wiring. The wire that comes from the light, you'll just take that and tuck that right there beside that bracket, and then I'll bring the wiring harness down and plug the light in. The way I'm gonna connect this in the truck, this is the power that goes to the battery. I'm gonna connect these to my aux beam switch panel, and then this end of it will connect to the light. And then you have this optional switch that you could run in the truck. This is our closure that turns on and off the light, which connects to this. But I'm gonna cut this switch off and wire it into my existing relay that I have a fuse tap going into high beam left, because I definitely don't want this tacky switch in the truck. I ran the wire that powers the light bar straight down through here, and once it gets down under the truck, I went right over this bar. The wire comes here. I tied off a couple of tie wraps right there, and there's where the connection is made. I've got everything wired up. The power runs right here to this 30 amp fuse on my switch panel. And then over here from my fuse box, I've got the fuse tap that I went from high beam left down to the relay that I added right here to replace that button switch. So that goes right over here to the wiring harness, and it plugs into the light bar right here. I've had a lot of people ask me in the past, why are you using another relay instead of just using the relay that comes with the light bar? Well, you can't really do that because in order to energize the relay that comes with the light bars, you have to have like a button. So that's why you get that. You can either run that in your truck or you can automate it with another relay. So what I've done is hook that relay to the high beam left, and when that gets triggered on, it's just like you taking your finger and pressing the button on, which energizes the light bar relay, passing power to the light bar. And by having it connected that way, you're utilizing the 30 amp fuse that comes with the lighting harness instead of using like the high beam 15 amp fuse. You definitely don't want to run the light bar and your high beams on one single fuse. This bar does come with a license plate bracket, so if you are in a state that requires that, you won't have any problems. You'll just mount that right there in those two holes. Well, I've got a mess to clean up tonight. I'm gonna get that taken care of, and we'll look at the reveal tomorrow. Today is reveal day. I do want to give a big shout out to Real Truck for always supporting the channel. Lund is a great product, and you never have to worry about any quality issues with Real Truck. Well, here she is, guys. I'm really loving the design of this and how they've made it where it sits really close to the bumper. The rough country stuck out a lot further. I do think that this bull bar blends a lot better with that armor grill. I am curious kind of to see what the Chevy grill would look like, so I may eventually put that back on in the future. Here it is from this side. But yeah, I'm definitely liking this. This bar looks really good. I can't wait to see what it looks like at night. I'm curious to see if this bar interferes with the front sensors. So let's turn the park assist back on, and then we'll put it in drive. And yes, it does. So I will have to continue to leave that turned off. And here she is at night. I've got the grill light on, the light bar on. Of course, my high beams are on because I have it connected to that. And this adds a ton of light going down the road. I may need to consider getting a more heavy-duty alternator to run all these lights. But everything is coming together. I'm really loving the look of this, and it just adds a lot to the truck at night. All right, guys, I'm on a pitch black road. I've got the normal running lights on. I'm gonna turn on the high beams, and now I'm gonna turn on the grill light, and now I'm gonna turn on the light bar. So you get a ton of extra light with these modifications on the grill and with the bull bar. And if we turn the grill off, let's see if we lose light. So the grill definitely does add to that light bar on the bull bar. So with everything on, this is a great combination. So let's turn those back off one more time. The light bar off and the grill light off. And there's your regular high beams. All right, here's some driving with them all on. I do think that this LED bull bar, the light in it sits a little bit lower than the rough country, so it does seem like you can't see as far with this light bar. But I do think it is definitely way better than just your high beams alone. I'm really liking this combination on the front of the truck. I think it's time for me to turn my attention to the back of the truck. So make sure you watch out for the next video. If you like this one, make sure you hit the thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do so. Until next time, see y'all.